Good morning. I want to thank everybody who joins us. My name is Ola Atamanova and Ukraine Media Center Ukrinform starts its operation today. It's been 9 years of the war and today is day 421 of the full-scale invasion of our homeland by Russian aggressor, and I traditionally want to thank the representatives of all the mass media who told the world the truth about our heroic resistance and this war. And now we will be talking about the support to a country by Estonia. I want to introduce our speaker today. It's Kaimo Kuusk, the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Estonia to Ukraine. Good morning, Mr. Ambassador. Good morning. So, it's been more than a year of the full-scale invasion of our homeland by the Russian aggressor. How did it pass for the Republic of Estonia and Estonians? What has changed for the people of Estonia? Thank you very much.
So yeah, you rightly said the Russian war against Ukraine has lasted more than 9 years. The large-scale war started 24th of February early morning, and it's also Estonian Independence Day. So we are taking it very personally as well, actually. So Estonia and Estonians are standing with Ukraine with its help. It's not only state, it's also our citizens, it's also our entrepreneurs. I remember I was here in Kyiv when the large-scale war started, and just a day or two later, my good friend, my classmate, called from Estonia and said that I know that European Union sanctions can take time, but I want you, that means me, to know that his company started its own sanctions against Russia and Belarus. They cut all the business ties just overnight towards those two countries, and he asked that, hey, tell it to Ukrainians as well that we are Estonians, we are not waiting for that. So I think somehow it was not waited, but we were not surprised by the atrocities what Russians have committed, because we have been under Russian occupation by ourselves, we have suffered, so everybody has relatives, knows someone who has either been deported to Siberia when they were just small kids. Our Prime Minister Kaja Kallas telling the stories how her grandmother and her mother, who was really a baby at that time, were deported from Estonia after the Second World War. So yeah, we somehow feel the feelings Ukrainians are feeling, so that's why we are mobilized as a society to help you.
Mr. Ambassador, Estonia and other Baltic countries obviously became the countries that provided very substantial support, first humanitarian aid to the Ukrainians, who accepted a lot of Ukrainians in your country, provided temporary shelter. So how many Ukrainians, according to your calculations, are currently staying in Estonia? What is the social support Is the support still being provided, and how powerful is that?
War, there have been more than 100,000 Ukrainians who have come to Estonia. Not all have stayed, some have also used Estonia as a transit, some, but not very much actually, have went to Finland, Sweden. Some of them have returned also. So at the moment, I think we are calculating roughly 50 to 60,000 Ukrainians staying in Estonia. And we are looking it also as a percentage of our population, so it's 3 to 4% of our population. So if we are talking with some other countries who are saying that, hey, we are having 100,000 Ukrainians who have escaped the war and staying with us, then yeah, we have given the comparison that 3 to 4% of our population, it's quite a significant number. But at the same time, it's not a competition. The people are in need and we are ready to help them. Besides other things, we have opened a school only for Ukrainian kids in Tallinn, for example.
Пане посол, ми знаємо, що Естонія не обмежила.
Mr. Ambassador, we know that Estonia did not limit itself to only humanitarian aid. There is very significant military support for which we obviously appreciate. We appreciate this input of Estonian government and the people and the businesses. What was done in that area, if I may?
Military.
So we started already before the large-scale war, because we saw that something is coming, something big is coming, so we thought that if it's coming, we need to help Ukrainians to be ready for that. Maybe it's even could help to deter something too, and Russia is seeing that allies are ready to arm Ukraine. So we started with giving anti-tank weapons like javelins. It was 5 days before the large-scale war. I was on Borispol airport and we delivered the first batch of Javelin anti-tank missiles to Ukrainian armed forces. We have brought in the anti-tank mines, tens of thousands. We have brought in the howitzers. We asked before the large-scale war permission from Finland and Germany to give their howitzers, what we had, to Ukraine. It was a mess at the beginning. We went to media with that request, and we got the permission actually. So at the moment we have brought to Ukraine all towed artillery howitzers, what we have. So we have given everything on that which are touted, meaning of they are not moving themselves, although the 155 can do it. They have a small Volkswagen engines on that, so they can change the location as well. So yeah, we have given howitzers, we have given guns, tens of thousands of guns, we have given ammunition, trucks. Related to that, we have given and actually built 3 field hospitals thanks to German money and Netherlands and Norway. So 3 brand new, the most modern field hospital, which now have helped thousands of Ukrainian soldiers to be saved actually. So yeah, lots of equipment, and again, if to put it into statistics, it's 1% of our GDP, roughly, we have given since now, and we are continuing. We are training your guys as well, actually, so that's also very much needed.
Я хочу подякувати від всього, мабуть, українського народу зараз за
I want to thank you on behalf of all the Ukrainian people, maybe for all that aid and support provided, and I cannot help but asking to what extent do the Estonians feel this threat now? We understand for Russia, those countries as Baltic countries, as Poland, it's a challenge that they react to in a very inadequate manner. how felt is that threat in Estonia now?
The Estonian government always have known that Russia is our strategic enemy. In 90s, in zeros, that's not a surprise for us. Okay, we have not made it so public, but our people also knew it. So we knew that Russians have exercised attacking Estonia, cutting some corners of our territory. So we have always prepared for that. We have helped now Ukraine with our military aid, the tools we have given, the weapons. We are taking it as an investment to our own security, because every Russian tank which is destroyed by javelin we have given cannot attack us. They are not existing anymore. When we made the decision to give military aid, it was exactly, the calculation was that, hey, we have bought those javelins to shoot at Russian tanks. So as Ukraine is shooting Russian tanks, we will give javelins to them, so those weapons will be used as it was meant to be. So we, in Estonia as a society, I think what we can see during those critical times is how people are joining the voluntary defense forces. We are calling it Kaitseliit. Your territorial defense actually got inspired by our Kaitseliit. We have trained them, we have consulted them, so there are more people who have joined now the Kaitseliit, and every weekend, not every, maybe a second weekend in a month, they are going to forest and train actually. So people want to protect our homeland. So we have also raised defense expenditures and relatively peaceful time. We have reached 2% of GDP, but at the moment the plan sees that we are putting 3% of GDP. Of course, if we look how much Ukraine is putting from its yearly budget, approximately half of that, or from the GDP, it's definitely a huge amount. So we got inspired by your bravery there, Ukrainians.
Пане посол, росіяни, ні для кого не секрет, що і в нашій, вашій країні
Mr. Ambassador, the Russians, it's no secret to anybody that in both our country and in your country there's a lot of Russians. How has the attitude to Russians changed? How the policy changed? And how did the Estonians' attitude change to the Russians?
To hostile attitudes towards us. The society has thought that things are, taking time. The Russians will be integrated. They are learning the language of Estonian. But we have seen that for a certain percentage it's not the case. And I think we have took a more solid attitude towards that. One example is to take this Russian tank T-34, border town Narva, which for Estonians is a symbol of occupation, but the majority of Narva people who have brought in to this city after it was destroyed by Russians in Second World War. It wasn't Germans, it was Russians. It's like Mariupol. They bomb it to the scratch and then they bring new people in, and those new people can't understand why we are looking at them as occupants, because they arrived and city was already in ruins. But we are not tolerating this attitude anymore actually. We have explained for decades, so we just took this tank and we brought it to the historical museum. And it's cynical again, but when Russians are talking how they value their statues, The tank, which was empty from inside, was turned into a rubbish bin, actually. So that's how Russians are, well, looking at their, well, honors as well. Not very much.
Шановні колеги, якщо є питання, прошу мікрофону, представляйтесь, будь ласка.
Dear colleagues, if you have any questions on the floor, please introduce yourself. Ukrinform, Nadia Yurchenko. Mr. Ambassador, Ukraine accepted with enthusiasm the resolution of the European Union to procure 1 million shells for Ukraine. There is a discussion, however, inside whether those shells can be procured at cost of the European Union, but from the countries outside the European Union.
We're really fed up about the talks that, hey, our warehouses will be empty of the shells. Well, it's a crazy statement. If warehouses will be empty, that means we have to start to produce new ones, and not only daytime but nighttime as well. So it was our initiative to produce for Ukraine, who is badly in need of ammunition, and also for ourselves as well. Our position is that if Europe doesn't have capabilities to produce it very quickly, we need to turn to our allies, not Switzerland, because Switzerland has been a very problematic, actually, country, letting deliver weapons or ammunition for Ukraine, badly in need. It's, in my personal opinion, it's some artificial neutrality from the 19th century. But Turkey, member of NATO, well, South Korea, who is not in NATO but actually our ally, definitely in Pacific area, or Canada, and of course United States themselves, actually. So, well, we are in this all together, so we have to deliver, we have to buy it where it's possible to get as quickly as possible.
Чи є ще питання, друзі?
Dear friends, do we have any more questions on the floor? Thank you very much for this conversation. Thank you very much for joining our broadcast. Dear colleagues, I'm reminding you joining us was Kaimo Kuusk, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Estonia to Ukraine. Thank you very much. Bear with us. Our next briefing is at 12 o'clock, and we will be talking about the ban of Ukraine agricultural products to the Europe. So bear with us. Trust in the armed forces, and glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes.